Bank Nifty after the credit policy? Could it be the case of buy the rumor and sell the news? And that is something which we'll discuss just with Kunal. So Kunal, post the credit policy, the risk is over. We've come on the right side of the event. But could it be buy the rumor, sell the news?
Yeah, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. I think that's what's exactly happening for the banking index today and for the overall markets. But this should not come as a surprise. I think the kind of built-up which we've seen in the last 1 week, 10 days, indicated that the markets were going in extremely heavy, and this culminates the major set of events the markets were waiting out for since the last 1 to 2 weeks. So I think I would probably expect that this could just be a bit of a mild profit booking before the major set of trend or the next round of rally picks up for the index.
From now on a scale of 1 to 10, are we going to be higher or lower on the Bank Nifty?
So initially lower. I'm not sure within a week, but I think if you ask me for 15 days or 20 days, I think after a dip of another, say, 500 points further, I would expect at least another 1,000 to 1,500 point rally.
HDFC and State Bank of India, two heavyweights. They both have a divergent trend.
Correct. Can
the Bank Nifty do well? One wheel is going this way, the other wheel is going the other way.
Nikunj, you'll be amazed with the data, because in the last 5-6 months we've done a relative strength analysis for which are the stocks within the banking index which have actually outperformed or underperformed, and apparently HDFC Bank and SBI are ranked into the mid kind of a performing zone. So as you can see, that SBI has actually, since the September 2024 highs, is actually given an underperformance of 10%. HDFC Bank is more or less up 6-7% broadly. But then there are other names which have actually started to look attractive. So for example, Kotak Bank is something which is still up 8% from those September highs. But then there are two names, fresh names, which are actually emerging as a potential turnaround candidate, and that's IndusInd Bank as well as IDFC First Bank. As you see, from Jan 2025 so far in the last 5-6 weeks, we've actually seen these stocks outperforming as compared to the traditional HDFC Bank and SBIs. So I believe that the tilt or the mood within the banking index is changing, and we are not looking at the usual HDFC Bank and SBI. Yes, these are heavyweight stocks, but the price performance is telling a completely different story.
So the trade is that in today's decline, by HDFC Bank?
I would say by Kotak Bank, by IDFC First Bank, by IndusInd Bank. They could actually
IDFC First Bank, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's what the data is suggesting, that there is a relative strength, scale tilt more towards these stocks, and they could be rank outperformers.
No PSUs?
No PSUs.
You're sure?
Yeah, it's coming out in the data, Nikunj, very clearly that in the last 5 weeks.
It's a bold call.
Yeah, that's the data, so I'm backing the data move.
So data is not backing HDFC Bank, because up ki bar those are what we're talking, that is over.
No, that doesn't mean that Nikunj, HDFC Bank will correct, but I'm saying on a relative basis, because here we are looking at, so you can't be buying all the stocks within the banking index. We have to choose the top 2, top 3 names in terms of relative scale, and here so far, HDFC, ICICI Bank, rather Kotak Bank, IDFC First Bank, IndusInd Bank, I think these 3 stocks are coming out as top winners.
I look at numbers and I say one simple thing, which is that when markets just stop reacting to bad news, that's the bottom in the place. Not that IDFC Bank numbers were great. 2 quarters they have disappointed, but post numbers, I think the stock, if my impression is right, 60 became 55 and 55 has become 65. So it fell after the numbers.
Yeah, it fell just for that one day after the numbers, but then post that we've
So again, bad news, bottom is made,
exactly,
and then it's time to reorient.
Yes.
Kotak, bad news, bottom is made, time to reorient.
Correct.
But has IDFC Bank spent enough time? Because Kotak has spent 3 years in consolidation.
It's almost 17 months, Nikunj.
For IDFC
Bank. IDFC First Bank.
Okay.
Jan 2024, I think, if I'm not wrong, the stock made a high of 100.
So banks have spent time, which is called consolidation.
Correct.
They've stopped reacting to bad news with respect to what has been thrown, which means the last big seller is out. Volatility has kicked in, which means the aggressive buyer is back and the aggressive seller is out.
Correct.
Now the risk-reward ratio in favor of banks is more than 50% if you buy them.
Yeah.
That's very simple. Ultimately everything has a risk.
Simply put.
But 50% more, can I say it's 60?
Yeah, it's more than 50%. So it's advantage bulls for someone who's looking to go on a long positions for banking.
Okay, so more than 50%, and that's where the gains are.
Exactly.
Okay, fantastic. So we've been talking about buy, you should look at banks, but within specifically after credit policy, if you're looking at for a bargain, don't go for PSU bank, go for banks. Within that, don't go for PSU banks. Within private banks, you can avoid HDFC Bank, but the real bank for the buck or the real meaty trade in the short term, according to Kunal, is IDFC Bank, mid cap, Kotak, which is large cap. These are 2 stocks which I think Kunal feels that there is money to be made in the short term. That's it on this show. Thank you for tuning in. We've just analyzed the impact of credit policy, what it means for your money. Should you get excited, or you'll have to wait in terms of getting that loan, loan benefit. Deposit growth may also not go down. So nothing meaningful may change post the credit policy for you and me in terms of portfolio. Then the second part we covered banking stocks. and within the banking stocks there could be a splutter here and there, but ultimately banks will outperform. Within that it could be IDFC and Kotak according to Kunal.